This is a recorded reading of Building Your Knowledge, Playing Fair. When you play a game, you want everyone to have an equal chance to win. To do this, you must come up with a set of rules on which everyone agrees. Everyone should follow these rules when they play the game. In science, researchers want to make sure that an investigation is a fair test of the question they are asking. To do this, scientists follow a set of guidelines or rules to ensure that an experiment is a fair test. Scientists also call a fair test a controlled experiment. A controlled experiment is an investigation in which only the factor being tested varies. All other factors that are expected to be relevant are controlled to the extent possible so that they do not change. Another term for factor is variable. Variables can be characteristics such as height, color, or size. They can also be properties such as speed, direction, or strength. There are usually many variables that have to be considered when designing an experiment, and they depend on the particular situation. So the text that's underlined, it says fair test is a controlled experiment. And so that's all we call keeping the rules fair in science. We have factors or variables that we test. And some of these variables, one of them will vary and the other variables will stay the same or be controlled. To see how this works, think about why an experiment is performed. The purpose of an experiment is often to determine if one variable affects another variable. For example, we could ask if an object's mass has any effect on how fast it moves when pushed. The variable that we think might be affected is the dependent variable. In this case, the object's speed. And the variable that we think might cause the effect is the independent variable, in this case, the object's mass. All other variables, such as color of the ball, its composition and diameter, are kept constant. Then, as the mass of the ball is varied, its speed is measured. If every other variable is controlled or kept constant, we should only observe the effect of mass on speed. Okay, so let's go back here. Okay, I want you to underline a couple things in this paragraph. Underline dependent variable and underlined independent variable. Dependent variable is what you're going to measure. And in this case, you'll be measuring speed. The independent variable is what you change. And in this case, what you change is going to be the object's mass. So we'll go back up. And then here, controlled variable, that's what we keep the same. And that's going to be composition diameter of the ball. Therefore, if the experiment is well controlled, any changes in the dependent variable are very likely to be a result of the change in the independent variable. While there is no absolute guarantee that the result was caused by the change in the independent variable, fair tests produce conclusions that other scientists can validate. That means that if they repeat the same experiment under the exact same conditions and they get the same result, they can increase their confidence that the conclusion is true. So when you design an experiment, play by the rules and always make sure it is a fair test. This concludes the reading of Playing Fair.